Testosterone levels have been on decline for the last 1,000 years. Men are turning into little pussy-ass, feminized bitches. Their sexes are getting changed. There is 10,000 studies here showing that animals, monkeys, are literally turning gay because of a decline in testosterone. And it's in your everyday items that you are using. Luckily for you, I'm here to save you. I'm gonna show you everything you can do to get your testosterone levels back up to that they should naturally be in primitive times. Also going to give you the privilege to buy my testosterone boosting supplement for only $997.97 at the end of this video. That is pretty much how all of these testosterone boosting YouTube videos start, bro. And there's so much BS online, it's unbelievable, which is why I wanted to make this, because like you can boost your testosterone. Your life is probably going to be better with increased testosterone, but also you can waste a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of stress on trying to do things with your testosterone that simply aren't true. If you're a man, testosterone is pretty damn important, from bone density, injury prevention, energy levels, sex drive, erectile strength, motivation, focus, discipline, muscle mass, fat mass, pretty much everything that you care about in your life probably is in some way linked or comes down to testosterone. So obviously it's quite important to ensure these things are optimized. First of all, testosterone boosting supplements. Let's go on this study. Testosterone boosting supplements composition and claims are not supported by the academic literature. 90% of T boosting supplements claim to boost test. However, only 24.8% of these had data supporting those claims. A total of 10.1 contained components with data suggesting negative effects on testosterone. So basically, any over-the-counter testosterone boosting supplement, already useless. Don't waste your money. Done. Debunked. Beautiful.
Never use fabrics that trap heat, which is why I always recommend the brand called Sheath. They have a dual pouch design and are made with 92% mortal fabric and 8% elastane.
Apparently, heating up your balls is going to destroy your testosterone, feminize you, turn you into a little soy boy woman, and you got to buy this very specific pair of underwear. How convenient to prevent this from happening. So this is the issue that I have, man. It comes down to false information to scare you. Fear mongering. That fear mongering is then going to be people like scared, they're vulnerable. Then it's like, buy my product to stop this thing from happening to you. So I can safely tell you, I would bet my left nut that the underwear that you wear make absolutely no difference to the amount of testosterone that you have flowing through your body. Unless maybe you wear one of those like leather, like latex jock straps, and that's what you're really, really into. It just fucking like gets you going whenever you put it on. That may actually boost your testosterone if you're into that, or women's underwear, if that's like a thing that you're into. There is a study that shows that ambient temperature decreases sperm quality as well. So the actual temperature of where you are, the environment that you're in. If we took this at face value, like ambient temperature decreases sperm quality, it's like no more sauna, no more exercising, no more hot countries. Basically walk around with your balls in like this little tank of ice at all times in order to preserve your sperm quality. The point I'm trying to make is a lot of these studies may show that things happen, or that I'm sure there are things that happen, for example, with a decrease in sperm quality if we're getting like really hot and we're exercising for like 8-12 hours, but it is on the micro, not the macro, and it's not going to have any kind of long-term implications or affect our testosterone, most probably. Next up, we have soy, for all you little soy boys out there. Okay, this is my favorite one because I'm secretly a soy boy deep down. I actually eat soy sauce most days. Why is everyone saying that soy is bad?
The first category of food that is going to be plummeting your testosterone levels, and this won't be much of a surprise to a lot of you, and that is soy products.
Soy contains something called isoflavones. In the body, isoflavones are converted to phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens is literally like a plant estrogen. This is chemically similar to human estrogens, and estrogen is a female sex hormone. But what can also happen in men is if you have high estrogen, it can decrease your testosterone. Like, this is a fact, it will decrease your testosterone, and it can cause feminization as well and make your voice go like this, and you develop a lisp. You don't actually develop a lisp. But the majority of Asia, especially East Asia, eats soy every single day, bro. Is there an epidemic in the continent of Asia of men becoming feminized? I would say no. I would say the West probably has this more than the East. Another really popular buzzword at the minute is PFAs, forever chemicals.
Drinking out of plastics containing BPA, which is a chemical known as an EDC. EDC stands for endocrine disrupting chemical. When they make the plastic, it's in there, it leaches into whatever you're drinking, you drink it, and your testosterone level plummets.
In food wrappers, clothing, anything anything that you don't want stuff to stick to, anything that's water resistant, like even, let's say grease-proof paper, baking paper, for example, it's probably gonna have PFAs in it. Your coat, your clothes, your shoes, your wash, etc., etc. The issue of these things is they absorb through the skin. They're absorbed in the blood. They're found in the blood, urine, placental tissues, which obviously isn't good in tissue throughout the body, especially like PFAs and stuff. So we've got another review here that looked at 29 studies that looked at the impact of the ingredients in sunscreen that are actually banned in certain places. I think Hawaii and another state banned these ingredients in sunscreen, but for the rest of the world, it's still like really common. But there are reports, genuine reports of this actually affecting things like male sex hormones, testosterone. This is testosterone, and this is male sperm count over the last 100 or so years. Whatever graph is behind me, I don't actually know what's going to be put behind me. As you can see, it's going down. And I do think this is a contributing factor to that. I think it's a variety of things that compound. So I would say that these chemicals, it's not like you have to avoid them like the plague, but it's probably a good idea to do certain things and just be like aware that maybe this is low-key fucking you up. And one thing to kind of remember that I like is absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So just because there isn't evidence for something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be cautious. So for example, with sun cream, I put sun cream on my face every single day. It has some of these chemicals in. I'm sure it has some PFAs in. It definitely has PFAs in, but I put it on my face every single day because you know what's worse than some PFAs? Skin cancer. Looking like an old wrinkly ball bag at the age of 40 because you haven't put sun cream on your face daily. But for example, let's say if I live somewhere hot and I had to lather my body with sun cream every single day, I'm going to get a lot of absorption through my whole skin versus just putting like a little bit on my face every day or every other day, then yeah, I'll probably look for natural sun creams that don't contain PFAs, don't contain those chemicals. If you're pregnant, maybe don't go around licking receipts. If you're picking up a receipt from a cashier, it's not going to have any endocrine disrupting effects. If you're handling receipts all day, then maybe I'll do something like wearing gloves, for example, just to avoid contact with those chemicals. The thing that people do is they focus on the micro, not the macro. So these things are the macro things that actually are going to impact your testosterone, and they're not fun, they're not sexy. It's not me being like, oh bro, you have to do this, and you do this one secret thing that no one's telling you about, and it's going to result in X, Y, tripling with testosterone. These are things that you're going to listen to and you're going to be like, ah, this is pretty fucking boring, or it's easy to do. But these are the things that actually work and will actually boost your testosterone to like clinically meaningful levals. After my men's physique show, my testosterone went from this down to this. That is all back to normal now. That has been completely restored. And these are the three things that we focused on: not sunlight, not avoiding cooking with non-stick pans, not avoiding moisturizers, not avoiding my balls getting too hot when I went for a walk on a hot summer's day on that stupid stuff. These are the things that actually work. So the macro things of data behind it. The first and most important thing is sleep, boys. This is the most important, biggest one. There is an epidemic of lads not getting enough sleep. I know, because I used to be one of these people that stayed up really late in video games, doing all kinds of bad stuff, getting high, jacking off. Like I used to go to bed like 3, 4 a.m. when I was younger, and this will really negatively affect testosterone. Sleep will directly affect the amount of testosterone that you have, your fat mass, your muscle mass, your ability to concentrate and focus, your cravings, your sex drive. So this study took 10 young men, it got their sleep to 8 hours a night, and then reduced their sleep to 5 hours a night on average for all 10 young men. This study found that after just a week of sleep production down to 5 hours, which isn't even that much of a decrease, like that isn't even awful in terms of sleep restriction, their testosterone levels went down by 10 to 15% from that 1 week alone, bro. I like to do something called the 3-2-1 rule, and that means 3 hours before bed, I stop eating. I don't eat any food. 2 hours before bed, I stop drinking water. I stop doing work. I de-stress. And 1 hour before bed, I stop using bright lights. I dim screens. I just really, really relax, read a book, get into bed. I use candlelight, have a warm shower. And this is just going to increase that sleep quality, which is going to increase your mood, your quality of life, and ultimately actually make a substantial difference on that testosterone as well. Low testosterone is associated with a diet of highly processed food. If you want to get low testosterone, eat a highly processed food diet like the majority of people do in the West. Getting no nutrients in, your body can't synthesize testosterone, synthesize the hormones properly. And this is a great way to guarantee that you achieve chronically low levels of testosterone. This study or study of studies here found that low-fat diets in men actually reduce testosterone and bring it down. Doesn't mean that you should just eat loads and loads of fat, but it just basically means that you should eat good fat, eat healthy food, make good choices. You also want to make sure you get a good source of omega-3s in as well to increase testosterone, to reduce inflammation overall. So things like salmon, mackerel, oily fish are going to have a lot of fats. And if you're not having fish, like, you do need to have it. I didn't really eat a lot of fish, but then I would supplement fish oils, like a high quality purified fish oil. And now I make sure I eat fish at least once a week. Third and final thing, and that is don't be a big fat chungus, big fatty fat. All three of these things are pretty much as important as each other in terms of testosterone. And it's like, if you haven't got these things nailed down to a T, you're wasting your time on doing anything else. Like all these testosterone videos where it's like, make sure you eat 7 walnuts a day, and it's literally going to do nothing. If you're fat, if you're sleep deprived, if you're eating processed food all the time, it is not going to be great. So there's a 2004 study, and it took 6,000 people. So it's a really big study of a lot of power. It took 6,000 people, and it looked into the relationship of testosterone and obesity. And what this study did was it took measurements on weight, muscle mass, body fat percentage, and testosterone levels as well. As you can see from this graph here, there is a clear correlation between a decrease in testosterone and an increase in body fat percentage. If you're around this 12% body fat mark, you're going to be at the absolute top in terms of testosterone levels. So I would say for the vast majority of people, anywhere between 10 to 20% body fat is going to be the best place to be in terms of your testosterone level. So this basically shows the lower your body fat, the better. And you might be thinking, okay, if I get to like 3% body fat, isn't that going to be, I'm going to have really high testosterone? No, is going to be the answer to that, because they didn't have any super lean people in this study. But if you force yourself to get too lean, like I did explained in this video here, your testosterone will actually go down again. So probably anywhere below 10% is going to start to go down really sharply, to a point where you're literally going to have no testosterone in you, because your body just doesn't want to produce it. It wants to go into like survival mode. So between the 10 to 20% mark, it's going to vary depending on genetics, etc., is going to be the best place in terms of testosterone. All three of these things are pretty much as important as each other in terms of testosterone. And it's like, if you haven't got these things nailed down to a T, you're wasting your time on doing anything else. But in summary, those three things are going to be the main three things: sleep, losing weight if you're really fat, getting a bit fatter if you're below 10%, if you're super lean, and eating unprocessed foods. These are the only three things that you really need to focus on. Just be careful of this format of people scaring you, telling you stuff that's going to happen, giving you a solution to the problem, and being the savior and being like, oh, buy this product, it's going to solve your problem, it's going to increase testosterone, it's going to give you confidence, it's going to get you gals, it's going to make you not fat, give you muscle mass, etc. And conveniently, all you have to do is buy stuff. But anyway, people, with that in mind, if you want to get any non-testosterone boosting supplement that won't boost your testosterone but do taste good and might result in a little bit of muscle mass being gained, Ghost, code MO10. If you want some new gym gear as well, code MO10 on Vanquish. Best gym arms in the game. Black Friday sales and all of those. Training plans, etc. Link down below. Drop me a follow on Instagram as well. Drop me a DM if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, if you've got any suggestions or videos. Peace out. I love you to bits. Thank you. Good night.